Hey everybody, it's me, Audio Bible Lady, and we are continuing on in the book of Genesis on chapter 17 in the New Living Translation is what I'm reading from. And right now we're gonna go into when Abram and Sarai get a little bit of a name change here. So if you hear me fumble through and in the next upcoming chapters still call them by their old name, it's because my brain is getting old, y'all. Okay, so bear with me. But we're gonna go through hopefully 17 and 18 if my children behave. All right. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Serve me faithfully and live a blameless life. I will make a covenant with you by which I will guarantee to give you countless descendants. At this, Abram fell face down on the ground. Then God said to him, This is my covenant with you. I will make you the father of a multitude of nations. What more? I am changing your name. I will no longer call you Abram. Instead, you will be called Abraham. So, just a shift of a name there. For you will be the father of many nations. Now, so far, he only has one son, and it's for lack of better words, illegitimate son with Hagar, not with his actual wife. So this must have been like, whoa, for Abraham, right? I will make you extremely fruitful. Your descendants will become many nations, and kings will be among them. I will confirm my covenant with you and your descendants after you for generation to generation. This is the everlasting covenant. I will always be your God and the God of your descendants after you, and I will give the entire land of Canaan, where you now live as a foreigner, to you and your descendants. It will be their possession forever, and I will be their God. Then God said to Abraham, Your responsibility is to obey the term of the covenant. You and all your descendants have this continual responsibility. This is the covenant that you and your descendants must keep. Each male among you must be circumcised. You must cut off the flesh of your foreskin as a sign of the covenant between you and me. From generation to generation, every male child must be circumcised on the 8th day after his birth. This applies not only to the members of your family, but also to the servants born in your household and the foreigners born or that you have purchased. All must be circumcised. Your bodies will bear the mark of everlasting covenant. Any male who fails to be circumcised will cut off from the covenant family for breaking this covenant. Then God said to Abraham, Regarding Sarai, your wife, her name will no longer be Sarai, from now on her name will be Sarah, and I will bless her and give you a son from her. Yes, I will bless her richly, and she will become the mother of many nations. Kings of nations will be among her descendants. Now remember, we just read a little bit ago, he's now 99. Sarah's old too. So this must be like, whoa, what? Then Abraham bowed down to the ground, and he laughed to himself in disbelief. How could I become a father at the age of 100, he thought. And how can Sarah have a baby when she is 90 years old? So Abraham said to God, May Ishmael live under your special blessing. But God replied, No, Sarah, your wife, will give birth to a son for you. You will name him Isaac, and I will confirm my covenant with him, and his descendants an everlasting covenant. As for Ishmael, I will bless him also, just as you have asked. I will make him extremely fruitful and multiply his descendants. He will become the father of 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will be confirmed with Isaac, who will be born to you and Sarah about this time next year. When God had finished speaking, he left Abraham. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael and every male in the household, including those born there and those he had bought. Then he circumcised them, cutting off their foreskin, just as God had told him. Abram was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and Ishmael, his son, was 13. Both Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised on the same day, along with all the other men and boys of the household, whether they were born there or bought as servants. All were circumcised with him. So God makes this covenant with Abram on that day, and he changes both him and his wife's name, and informs them that in this old age of theirs, they are going to have a son a year from then. It's so exciting, so much neat stuff in the Bible. I always my jaw drops when people tell me, "Oh, the Bible's boring. There isn't anything interesting in it, and there's nothing all that appealing to read. But not only is it profitable for teaching us the ways that we should go, but it also has such neat and interesting stories that relate to our life. You know, we could sit here and say, wow, we've been praying for this for a really long time, and it seems like it would never happen, but God has promised that it would. So if they could trust that long for a child, then I can certainly trust God for what I'm praying for. Chapter 18. The Lord appeared again to Abraham near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. One day, Abram was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up and noticed 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran to meet them and welcomed them, bowing low to the ground. I'm assuming he knew that these were people of heavenly nature and that he needed to show some respect. My lord, he said, if it pleases you, stop here for a while. Rest in the shade of this tree while water is brought to wash your feet. And since you've honored your servant with this visit, let me prepare some food to refresh you before you continue on your journey. All right, they said, do as you have said. So Abraham ran back to the tent and said to Sarah, hurry, get 3 large measures of your best flour, knead it into dough, and bake me some bread. Then Abraham ran out to the herd and chose a tender calf and gave it to his servant, who quickly prepared it. When the food was ready, Abraham took some yogurt and milk and the roasted meat, and he served it to the men as they ate. Abraham waited on in the shade of the trees. Where is Sarah, your wife? The visitor asked. She's inside the tent, Abraham replied. Then one of them said, I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife, Sarah, will have a son. What? Okay, so Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. Abraham and Sarah were both very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. So she laughed silently to herself and said, how can a worn-out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also so old? Then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, can a woman like me have a